that love I deserve. As people, we put walls up because we are afraid of getting hurt. As people, we put our hearts on ice because we've been hurt by our past. Not necessarily always a relationship with love. It's been a family member, a friend, or just being disappointed by life, period. I am she that went on dates alone to understand me. I am she that understands my...
Join us tonight at 7 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube.
You are enough. You are enough. Excellent to navigate the overcoming uniqueness of growth and healing. You are enough. There is power in you. You are enough. Are you ready to use the power that's inside of you? You are enough. Today you know you was always enough. Yes. We had a moment when we didn't have the confidence to be as bold and secure that we are now. You are enough. Yes, we had moments when we settled for that relationship that we weren't supposed to be in because it was toxic or not. Hello. Thank you for tuning in to The Power in Your Voice. And today we have Mr. Wonderful Miss Francesca in the building. How are you?
I feel good. I'm honored to be here tonight with you. You're an amazing woman, So I'm honored to be on here tonight. And let's empower people that are listening to us tonight, because I know they're super excited to hear the testimony. So I'm very excited. I meditated too.
Listen, absolutely. We are going to dive into it. So first off, let's tell us, how did you decide to get into advocacy?
Well, I had something that happened to me horribly when I got married. You know, as women, our concept of getting married in a white dress, getting married for the very first time, walking down the aisle with the love of your life, and then, you know, what seems to be something that's supposed to be loving down the road as the years go by, you start seeing a different character of your husband. And there was something that he did to me that didn't mark me, but it was something a woman shouldn't go through, because love is not supposed to hurt. So I married him in 1998, and I was married to him for 17 years. And it's crazy because the first 6 years were wonderful. You know, everything was loving. Everything was, I loved you. When he came home from work, he ate. And I mean, everything was beautiful. I never saw anything within the 6 years. But after that, his attitude started changing. Everything I did was wrong. Everything I cooked was wrong. And he started, you know, a lot of arguments for nothing, petty little stuff. And I remember, I'm going to tell you, I remember one night that I cooked. Mind you, me and his mother were like tight. I would always ask her, what's his favorite breakfast, lunch, dinner? And I made everything this first 6 years to the T. So it was never an issue. So I remember one afternoon, I made his favorite meal and he came home like with an attitude. I mean, and I asked him how he was doing, and he just would turn around and tell me, like, you know, to shut the F up and, you know, go about my business and prepare the table with his food and stuff. He was going to come back. And that afternoon, oh my God, I remember like it was yesterday when he came into the kitchen and he saw the food. He was like, that's not what I want. What's wrong with you? And he literally threw the food in my face. And I felt like humiliated, some type of way. And I held tears in, like, wow. And he told me, pick that all up from the floor and you are going to make me something I like. So of course I started picking up everything for the floor, but I was crying because I was like, wow, he threw it like literally in my face. And I'm like, what's wrong with him? So I proceeded that. I made them another meal, and he ate it. That whole afternoon, he didn't speak to me. I was still like inside, like, wow, still felt the humiliation and the anger of, imagine somebody throwing food in your face and literally everything like on the floor and picking it up. So I left him alone, and I started noticing that he started changing the weekends. He started going out more. I couldn't question it. It was like, mind my business. Like, he's the man. And he would come 2, 3 o'clock in the morning drunk. My kids wouldn't see this. Thank God they wouldn't see this. But I started seeing his whole demeanor changing towards me, more anger, more violent. If I questioned anything, he would just be verbally abusive, and it started progressing worse and worse and worse. I remember another occasion that we owned a business together, and I said something to him about going out. And mind you, it was in the winter, and he literally hit me in the eye, and it was like swollen. And I went into work with sunglasses, and his sister came in like weirded out why I'm wearing sunglasses in the middle of the winter. She lifted them up and just went like, oh. And he was working in the back, and I thought maybe she was going to go in the back and address this. She never did. So that day just went like, okay. So there was other incidents where it was like throughout the after 6 years, it just spiraled. It was horrible. There was nothing I couldn't say to him. He would come drunk the weekends. I couldn't say anything. And I remember one night that he came 2 o'clock in the morning, and he literally took the sheets off of me and told me to get up and make him something. So I'm thinking it's just him. But when I go in the kitchen, I see two of his friends, a young lady, and I'm like, I'm tired. I got to get up the next day to go to work. And he was like, it's not what you say, it's what I say. So, of course, to keep the peace and not wanting him to hurt me in front of these people I don't know, I made them something like a little appetizer, and I went back to bed. And that made me feel horrible because it was just, every day was something different. Every weekend, it was like, what am I going to expect from this man? So there was one time he came super angry, and I had said something to him like, I don't like how you talk to me sometimes. I'm not doing nothing. And we lived on the second floor. Literally, without me knowing it, he tossed me down the flight of stairs. I literally rolled down, and I was like, oh my God, lucky I didn't break my neck, but I did broke my ankle. And I went to the hospital, and he came with me. And the first thing he said to me was, I dare you to say I threw you down the steps. You will say that you slipped and fall. So of course, I stayed quiet. I was young when I married him. I'm not gonna say I didn't know better, but I said, okay. So I was on crutches for a whole week, and here we go with the I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do this again. I should have never done that. I healed from it. I healed from it. So now here comes the parts where it started getting more aggressively as he started going out the weekends more and more and coming late. I remember one time that he came at two, roughly 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I was asleep, and he proceeded to take the blanket off of me and rough me up and try to, I'm gonna say how it is. He raped me. When he did that, you can just imagine how I felt. And he was like, oh, and you better not say nothing. And he got on the bed like nothing. I crawled up like a ball, and I started crying and saying, wow, you forced yourself on me, and we're married and stuff like that. And I also get like asked, like, how can your husband rape you? If it's not consensual, yes, he can rape you. So that happened quite often. It happened quite often, and it just like my whole self-esteem was like on the bottom. I cried a lot. I was terrified, like if he would come the weekends and do that. And it happened a lot. It really happened a lot, and I felt like I couldn't fight him back. I couldn't say nothing. He was always threatening me. And I always kept quiet because, my kids were always in the room and I didn't want them to know what was going on. But that happened quite so often. I got like to the point that I said, who can I say? Who can I go to? And I just kept quiet and took it. So there was another evening that he came home from work, very upset, the usual. I would say, what's wrong? Talk to me. And he was like, I told you to mind your business, not to say nothing to me. So, he would slap me to basically put me in my place. And he was like, if you continue, this is what you're gonna, that's what you're gonna get. So I just took it. I just took it. I'm going to say my faith in God right there. I was like, how can you allow this to go, to go on and not step in or give me like a light of hope? I just felt like completely lost and no one to cling to that wasn't going to believe me because he can do no wrong. So there was one evening he did something. He slapped me again. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to my mom's house. I can't take this. So believe it or not, I proceeded to go. She was 5 minutes away from my house. I proceeded to go to her house and just confess what was going on to me because I didn't know at that point. I was so desperate. And she was in the kitchen. And when I approached her, I was like, I got something to talk to you about. Let me just say my mom is stern. She was back in the days, no motion, no nothing. So when I approached her, I said, listen, there's something I got to talk to you that's happening to me. I want to see if you can try to help me. And I went into depths of everything this individual did to me. And the astonishing part was when she turned around and said to me, what are you doing? And I was like, wow. And this is the woman that birthed me that's supposed to protect me. But she said, what are you doing? Like basically telling me, what are you doing? Getting him angry. And I was like, okay, so this is my mom and she's telling me this. So I guess I gotta like, fix it. So I'm the problem, of course. So I told her, all right, I left, went home, cleaned, cooked, did everything I was supposed to do because I thought I was the problem. Little did I know that afternoon when he came, again, I don't want this to eat, don't come at me. I'm going to get dressed and leave. I'm tired of you know, he didn't touch me that day. He didn't slap me. When I saw everything I did, I said, hold up. I questioned myself and I said, wow, I went to her and I'm telling her he's raping me. He's physically abusing me. He's verbally abusing me. I'm your daughter and you're telling me to fix it and you're basically telling me to stay in that situation. So that was on our Friday. That Friday he went out with his buddies and stuff like that and came back, proceeded that he did the same thing again to me. This time, he raped me again and I was just at my frustrate point like who do I go to? What do I do? I'm getting like tired of this. So I meditated and that day I asked God to help me. And I said, you know what? I'm tired of this. I can't go into nobody. Nobody's believing me. My sister-in-law saw the black guy, never addressed him. The woman that birthed me, I'm sorry, I'm saying it like that. She never helped me out and say, come here, get out of that situation. So every year, that 17 years, I just kept saying, God, you're going to remove this individual, not how I want to, probably how you want to. Let me see what's going to happen. But it was like fights, rapes, fights, rapes, fights, rapes. To mention when I did fall down the stairs, my right leg and my ankle, it's being held with 3 nails. So I constantly have pain when the winter comes. One of my fingers on my right hand, the 4th finger, he twisted it so bad to the point that it's not even fractured, is disfigured. And I constantly have pains and, little cramps and stuff in it in the winter time when it's cold. That's the aftermath that he left me. But I can remember clearly that I had said one night at New Year's, I said, God, you know what? This is not love. This is not a way to live. This is like awful. He never wanted me to go to school. I wanted to become a model. He kept saying I was ugly. He kept saying I was stupid. To try to get out of that situation, probably do something to just forget what's going on. Nothing. Stay home. That's what I want you to do, is stay home, take care of the kids. So there was one New Year's that I said to myself, you know what, God, I believe you're going to get me out of this situation. I don't care how you do it, but you get me out of that situation. So he did. Not how I wanted to. And I say no judgmental, no judgmental, because whoever knows my heart, when you hear this part, you're gonna be like, you gotta be crazy. You could have stuck him in jail. So one New Year's Eve, he came drunk. My daughter was in the room. My boys were not living home. And he came drunk, illiterate. He didn't I think he didn't even know it was me. He didn't look, his eyes looked awful. So when he came in the room, he took the blanket off. He proceeded to throw me and pin me from the bed to the headboard on the floor, choking me out. And I'm literally like seeing this individual choking me out. And I'm like, physically with my eyes shut, like, he's gonna kill me. I never fought this man. I'm like, I gotta do something, because my daughter's like in the other room, and he's like right on top of me, choking me out, like pressing into my neck. And I'm like, oh, Father God, take this scariness I have. And I kicked him in between like his groin, and you know, he bounced up. And of course, he called me the famous word B. You know what? I'm going to kill you. You're going to see what's going to happen to you. So the argument went from the bedroom to the living room, but he ran into the kitchen. And I heard specifically in the drawer what he was trying to get was a knife. So, of course, my daughter gets up. She asks what's going on. He's like, I'm going to kill you, B. I'm going to kill you. You see, you're going to die tonight. And when my daughter saw that he was incoherent drunk, she was like, Mommy, go to the second bathroom in the hallway. And I started to run into the bathroom. I locked myself in there. And he just kept screaming, like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. But when I was in the bathroom, the craziest thing was I started crying, because I said, oh my gosh, he's telling me to run into the bathroom. My daughter's only 16. He can kill her and then come after me, and that's it. So I just prayed in the bathroom, and I said, God, you know what? Do your will. If tonight I got to die and save my daughter, it is what it is. So I just prayed, and I said, just help me. I can't do this no more. And once I opened the door, I was so scared. I'm not going to tell you, I wasn't scared. I was so scared. I said, whatever's going to happen, he's holding that knife. Girl, as long as your daughter survives. So as I started walking down the hallway, and I had my eyes closed, just praying, the door all of a sudden rings. And as I'm coming out, my daughter runs down the stairs, and the individual, the coward, sticks the knife underneath the dining room under the tablecloth, and he sits there. So the cops come up. They were like, is it anything now? No judgmental. Because I know better now. When they came up, I ran into the room. My whole neck was black and blue. I put a turtleneck to cover the bruises. And when I walked out, I just told them we had a fight, a little disagreement. And they were saying, well, the neighbors called the police because they heard a lot of noises in your apartment. Are you sure everything's okay? But they were looking at my eyes, and they started noticing that it wasn't okay. They looked at him. He was, drunk, bending over. I had every opportunity that night to arrest him for what he's been doing to me and what he did to me that night. But I thought, of my kids. He had kids too. I thought of his kids. I thought about what his mother would think, that, I put her son in jail. I put like basically everybody else before me. And if I can take back that night and have him arrested, I know whoever I help now is a good thing. But I didn't know better. Back then, I was a person that I took what he did to me. I was very, kind-hearted, always asking myself, why me? I'm a good person. I was a good wife, a good mother. And I felt bad inside myself what people would think that I didn't do it. So of course, I was taken out of the apartment. I was taken out of the apartment for him to like sleep off you know, the alcohol. I went to my sister-in-law's house. They took me at 3 in the morning. And when I got there, she already knew something went down when the cops were there. I was with my daughter and we came in the house and the cops said, "Are you going to be okay?" I'm like, "Sure, I am." So I just looked at my sister-in-law and I said, "Well, you know what happened. Let me just crash here." I left my daughter like in the sofa sleeping. I couldn't, sleep or nothing or relax because the whole time I was just thinking, this is my opportunity to get out. I don't want to be in this life no more in this marriage. So if anybody know where Kathy Court is in Patterson, I walked at 6 o'clock in the morning to Sandy's Court, where it used to be the CCP projects, just walking the whole time like, okay, I got to get him out of the house. That's it. The marriage is broken. I want a divorce. I know what I'm getting myself going into the apartment again or what may happen, but I ain't care because I said, God, we're going to do this. So I finally got there. I started walking up the stairs. He was in the bedroom and I nudged him in the shoulder and I said, listen, I need you to leave. You got 24 hours. I no longer want to be married to you. This ain't love. And he just like mummed and stuff. And I was like, God, he can get up right now and like completely beat me and kill me. Nobody's here now. But I had the courage to say, I want you to leave. 24 hours. I don't care how you do it. I want you to leave. And I got to say, to God be the glory. 2014, we got divorced. He actually did leave. I felt so good from it. So good from it. But the only situation was when I went back to get my daughter, the only heart wrench problem I had was my daughter had left. And I asked my sister-in-law, "Where's my daughter?" And she was like, "A car came to pick her up. I don't know who it was." I'm like, "What you mean you don't know who it was?" So instantly in my mind, I knew who she would probably call. And I had called my brother. I said, "Listen, by any chance is Cassandra with you?" And he was like, "Yeah." And she told me the whole thing. And I think it's good that you don't speak to her right now. And I'm like, why not? I had a domestic situation, and I hope in her mind she's not thinking I went back to the individual and I left her. So my heartache through this situation was I lost 3 years of my daughter's life, graduation, Mother's Day, you name it, and I was hurting through the process. I wasn't able to talk to her. She didn't want to talk to me, so I can explain, be like, "Listen, I went over there to tell him to leave so I can save you and me." And she didn't want to hear anything. And I held that against him till this day. I held that against him because she never in her head thought for once I was doing this for us. It's not, how would I go back to that individual? There's no reason for me to go back to someone that just literally tried to break me, hurt me, and I just thank God that everything that he did to me, it didn't traumatize me. It didn't change who I am. I'm still a loving person, a caring person, a loving person. And sometimes you got to go through something like that to save others that are in that situation. And I learned. So I turn my pain to purpose. And I also say, I don't look like what I went through. And I forgave him, not for him, but for me, so I can move forward and move on to help other women, men, youth understands that you don't have to accept this. Once you see a verbal argument and it turns to physical, I suggest you leave because it's not going to get better. That I'm sorry, I won't do it again. I heard it. I don't know how many times, and it's still the cycle was over and over and over and over, and I never believed it. So I just thank God that, he got me out of that situation. My faith is like awesomely, he did that. And I'm just happy. I'm just happy. And I know now that you don't you don't have to be in a relationship that's going to hurt you. Love is supposed to be beautiful. It's not supposed to be hurtful. Someone shouldn't disrespect you or demean you, and that's something that as women also, and I'm going to include men, is unacceptable. So if I made it out, I hope anyone that's listening in tonight that is in a toxic relationship and you're scared to leave because of financial, because of the kids. Listen, I raised my 3 kids. I took on that household like a superwoman, and I said I'd rather go through certain difficulties and financial difficulties than go back to that situation. So I can honestly say, I took on 2, 3 jobs, but I did that. And I showed that individual that whatever you said I couldn't do or I couldn't accomplish, I did it. I did it. And I would never ever let anyone in any relationship tell me my do's and don'ts. I'm my own person. So for anyone that's listening and seeing us right now, please, if you're in a toxic relationship, there are resources, obtain a restraining order, relocate if you have to, but don't stay in that situation. Don't waste the years that I look back that I could have been with someone that would treat me like a queen, respect me. But I thank the individual that maybe I had to go through something like that to be the person I am today. So that who's Francisca Nunez today. I don't accept none of that mistreats me anymore. I always say, try me. I always say, try me now.
She ready to go blows. But
Yes,
that I
try me.
commend you. I definitely commend you. We have a few comments in the chat, and I thank everyone for tuning in and watching. Please share. Please share this with someone else you know that might need to hear it. Share it over all over your platform because you never know who might need to hear this or might need some help. You have one person that says, ladies, thank you for sharing your story and helping others. Thank you, Miss Jenkins. She also says 17 years of anonymous abuse. You are strong and a resilient woman. Ms.
Thank
Davis said,
you.
yes, you are truly caring and loving person. God heard you and protected you. You are a testimony for the next person. You are the hope where there is hope.
Oh, thank you.
So tell us, now that you went through this, we turn our pains into purpose, and I know you also do coaching as well,
Mm.
correct? So
Yes, I
tell us,
do.
what do you provide as in coaching as a domestic violence coach? What do you do for the women or women and men and children, whoever you service?
Anyone, yeah, any good question. Anyone that comes to me, well, after that happened to me, I said I had to do, the research, educate myself. And I'm certified in the state of New York and New Jersey for domestic violence coach. And my services now, when someone comes to me, um, I listen. I provide that we go to an undisclosed area where they feel safe. And I don't care how long I have to be with you at a park. I mean, we could go to Dunkin' Donuts at a park, anywhere they feel comfortable. And the services I give is I mentor them. I make sure they get counseling. There's a lot of services. I help anyone that's coming out of that situation obtain a restraining order. I stay with them until they obtain it. I also make sure that if they don't want the individual in the household anymore, call the landlord, have the locks changed. I'm with the person while they're doing this on the phone. If they call the cops, I'm still on the phone if they're not within my reach in Patterson. I stay with them, and the officer will be like, "Who you're on the phone with?" I was like, "Domestic violence, coach," and they'll be like, "Oh, okay, just let her know, we're handling the situation." And I make sure that the warrior, because we're no longer victim, tells me the name of the officer, the badge, their department, so I can follow up that they did what they were supposed to. So the service I give is unique. I didn't charge from the beginning my services because a lot of them were like not working. A lot of them, the husband or the boyfriend will harass them and they will leave, get fired, or it's awful. So my services for now has been free because that's what I give out to help. And I tell them my testimony in the mix that sometimes financially they don't want to leave because they say they can't do it. The word can't is not registered in my head. We can do it if I have to help you. So I've helped many get out of the situation. The resources that are out here now, I give them and I tell them these resources, I didn't have them when I went through it. The support, I didn't have it. So to see that they have their fathers or their mothers, I said, cling to that because you saw what I told you, what the woman that birthed me said to me, fix it. So obviously, I'm not going to say she didn't care, but she didn't go the extra mile to get me out. If it would have happened to my sons or my daughters, listen, it's boots on the grounds because I went through it. I showed them that once your partner is this way, leave. There's no fixing it, there's no counseling, and it doesn't work, leave. And I'm the type of mother that you don't try with my kids. I
Right.
went through that, so don't try it. So I can just say that my services, anybody that knows me, they can call me. I'm a listening ear. I'm boots on the grounds when I have to obtain a restraining order. I don't play because the first step and the scariest step is to make a complaint and do the restraining order.
Absolutely. Now, I know the other day I seen you on the news. Can we talk about that?
Yes, we can.
Can we talk about that?
Well, my daughter referred me of a friend that was in a very domestic violence situation. Apparently the boyfriend beat her up, blackened her eye, and she had a 2-month-old baby. And she proceeded to go to the police department here in Patterson. And as you seen the video, the officer was mocking. And this is a young girl that was in the police station at 2 in the morning with a 2-month-old baby, trying to file a complaint and trying to file a restraining order. And when I saw that, I completely went like blacked out. Like, listen, the first thing to do is that. And when someone does that, you got to like praise it and say, hallelujah, because she could have been dead if she stayed at
Right.
the home. So I made sure the news found out and they were like, listen, where do you want to do it? Where it started? Because shame on the officer. You're here to protect and serve. You're not here to humiliate or to mock. And like I said, the first step when they walk into the police station to file a complaint, she had the bruises, and the demeanor part of you was to actually do the stuff that you did and put like an envelope, like you didn't want to pay attention. Like, how are you not going to take this stuff serious? She had the physical wounds and had some common courtesy. She was with her child. It was a 2-month-old baby. So I took it to the streets and I took it to the news that domestic violence has to be taken seriously. And when someone walks in there wanting to do that and you do those actions, 9 out of 10, they walk out and they go back. And then if they're deceased, whose fault is it? That's where I say make it make sense. You don't do that. So not on my watch. And I don't care who you are. I took it there. Now that I got some backlash, listen, you're going to do your job. And if
Right.
you can't do it, next. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
what happened.
it's definitely necessary because, like you
Yeah,
said, that is the first step is actually opening our mouths and not being in silence. And
absolutely.
for to get mocked or seen to downplay what's going on, yeah, that's definitely horrible. So I commend you for taking it to the streets and taking it to the next step, regardless of backlash or anything else.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, boots on the ground. We have to be able to speak for the ones that can't speak for themselves. We got to be the ones out here standing in agreements for the ones that are looking for help, and also being able to give people those parts of things that they might not think that's abuse, because
Yeah.
there's a different, like, everybody is not just physical, it's verbal,
Verbal.
mental, spiritual, financial, and it's a lot. So being out here speaking for these people and helping them acknowledge different things. So absolutely. So tell us, what is on next for Miss Francesca, because I know you are a busy lady and you are out here in these streets. So tell me, what is next?
Well, I am happy to say I run a podcast every Wednesday from 6 to 8, and I touch every topic, not just on domestic, child abuse, sex trafficking, warning signs of mental health because it's real. So I like the fact that I have my podcast. That was something that I didn't think about doing. It was offered to me, and I can just say, praise God that I'm getting the voice out there. I'm having men coming in, admitting to that they're also being abused, and that's a good thing. So my podcast is educating people, and we learn from each other. They tell me their testimonies. I'm like, okay, now. So also, I have a nonprofit organization, and it's English and Spanish to tap into the both, ethnicity, and that I launched it bit by bit by helping different municipality out of state with hygiene stuff, clothes, diapers, people that I know that are going through something and they're in a safe haven. I'm always sending boxes like, here, this is, you told me about the situation. I'm currently helping a young lady that's 15 years old that was raped,
Mm.
by a family member, not in school, not working. I was like, oh God, look, when is it going to end? So that's what I have been doing with my nonprofit organization. I mean, there's more to come. As an activist, I take joy in that because I'm an activist for the seniors. They're the most vulnerable, for autism, special needs, I'm boots on the ground. So they get the proper services on both angles. So I just put myself out there. I'm not a no, no, no. I'm a yes, yes. If the need is there. I like that when I'm doing something and someone asks me, how did you accomplish that? I'm not selfish. I help out because we can collaborate and help each other. And that's what it's all about, support. So I'm an unselfish person. I'm a very giving person. My book will soon be coming out, of my whole life story because it's not just domestic. I survived. I'm a two-term cancer survivor, and I consider myself a warrior because God ain't put me out yet. And I said, listen, you got me here for a purpose. So I'm educating people of the warning signs because, early detection is better than late. And through my process, I started seeing people that were saying, wow, I got stage 3, stage 4, because I never got checked. And I'm like, hmm, okay, that's another thing I got to add to my list because we don't see the warning signs. Not saying that this second rodeo, it gave me a warning sign because what happened to me was my blood pressure was 88/60. I couldn't move, and I called 911 and they were working on me with the blood pressure. It was crashing and they were like, that's not normal. So when they ran some tests and came back, January the 6th, they told me you have cancer. And I'm like, wow, again? And this time I came like, you know what? You ain't going to do what you did to me in 2017. I am fighting. I got too much stuff to do. So God, you know what? We doing this. So I thank God that in March I'm cancer free. I am going through a little situation that God is going to take care of it, but it hasn't stopped me from working because I inspired a lot of people through my cancer that you can get up. Don't let it defeat you. Posting every day that I'm smiling and it's not bothering me, and to continue to be active was the best medicine apart from God. So I was an inspiration not only in the city of Patterson but worldwide, that if you can do it, I can do it. So my inbox were like, listen, I didn't feel like going to chemo, but I see you, with a smile on your face and doing it, and you're just inspiring me to live. So when you do that through your journey, I can't ask for anything more but say, but God. And I never gave up through my process. I was working, taking classes, still doing my podcast. I would have my audience be like, you shouldn't be doing this. And I'm like, no, nothing's stopping me. As long as God lets me do it, we're going for it because Francesca has to be awful, bedridden, but as long as I can move, listen, I am going to help my community. I'm
I,
really going to help my community.
I commend you. I commend you. Aren't you, I think June 14th, you're speaking or hosting?
Yes, I'll be co-hosting with La Toast Rich. We're going to be bringing awareness for domestic violence. It's an honor to also be with her, because you two ladies, let me tell you something, I can't keep up with you guys. So June 14th, yes, I'll be co-hosting with her. It's an honor. I encourage everybody to come on too. We're going to be, having different speakers there talking about different kinds of situations. And we have to learn. We have to participate and stuff like that to learn from each other. And not only for us, because you can take that information to someone else. That's what I get off like going on people's podcasts, webinars. If I see it, I'll go on, because you don't know what that person's going to teach you. And I'll be like, oh, this person had this situation. Let me send them to her or him. And that's what it's all about, supporting.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's tell them about the mental health that's happening this week. Because this is Mental Health Awareness Month,
Yes.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I have an honor to be at the Women's Mental Health Brunch that's going to take place at 34 Broadway in Patterson, from 1 to 4. Who is initiating this is Humble Beginning. His name is Akbar. And I am honored, truly honored, that he's bringing this platform to the city of Patterson. And we're going to have amongst me amazing women also talking about trauma. We have the deputy mayor from the public safety of the city of Newark coming. She's going to be a speaker. We have book authors that are going to, two genuine, beautiful women that are going to be there. And I encourage the community to come and learn from us and learn from this amazing organization that is like boots on the ground. This man is like unstoppable. And his organization, well, corporation is Humble Beginnings, and his name is Akbar. And I am honored that he brought me on his team. And I am honored that he's going to have me on this panel this coming Saturday. So is this Saturday from 1 to 4. The address is 34 Broadway in Patterson, Humble Beginnings. So I hope everybody comes to educate yourself, because we're in the month of mental health. So come, healing begins with connection.
Absolutely. So before we end the show, is there any last words that you would like to leave, that anyone that may be going through something, that maybe need an inspiration, maybe need a word for the rest of the month, or shall I say, also might need that inspiration that you have, that fire that is ignited in you?
What I can say is, through my journey, what I learned was to put myself first. Let's put ourselves first. Let's love ourselves first. And you don't have to stay in that situation. I don't care if he threatens you, threatens your kids, your family. There's an outlet, there's resources. I publicly have my number on Facebook and every platform. You can feel free to call me. I do respond to emergencies. If it's something that they say they want to talk to me, I'll be like after 4, and I don't care how long we're on the phone, as long as you're safe. And I do encourage that, love is not supposed to hurt. It's something beautiful. It's something amazing. So there's so much information now. I encourage you that not to stay in a toxic relationship. We are queens. We are flowers. We are not supposed to be hurt. Men too, that are coming out also, and teenagers that are listening. Don't stay in a relationship that somebody's going to control you, verbally abuse you, or physically. There's a lot. I didn't have that back then, and to see that the services is there, I am willing to help. I'm not here to break a relationship, because we have that. They'll stay, and I respect that. But safety first. Always have a backup to leave. And no, if the services are out there, utilize them. It's better to be safe than sorry. And I speak for the voiceless, because many have passed, unfortunately, and it hurts me, because I feel I could have been one of them, and I'm not. I'm here.
He saved you for a reason. You still got work to do. How
Yes,
they
I
say,
do.
he gives his strongest
Hallelujah.
battles to his strongest warriors. So just know we are prepped, saddled, and ready to go to war. Can you tell the people how to reach you, how to connect with you? Let them
Sure,
know.
sure. Well, you can. I'm on Facebook as Francisca Nunez. My telephone number is 973-979-4288. Once you text me, the ball starts rolling. The ball started rolling. But that's my phone number. Feel free to shoot me a text message if you know of someone that's going through that situation. I'm here. I'll help them along the way. I've had history and testimonies that I do the work genuinely. I don't take that. I take domestic violence seriously. Any type of abuse, let it be child abuse, anything in that angle, I take it seriously, and I'm boots on the grounds that I do help. The history is there. I'm referred, and people know that's who you got to go to. She does it. Don't go anywhere else. That lady will help you. So I just thank everybody in my Facebook page, my followers that believed in me, encouraged me, are always there, just pushing me and letting me feel that I'm doing the right thing. I'm not shady. And I also want to commend you, just to thank you on tonight. Your platform also is amazing. I'm looking forward to working with you. Your books are awesome. Your magazine also. And just the title, I was talking to somebody a couple months ago, and I know she's up here, and she said something to me. Us as women, we wear a mask,
Mhm.
but we don't know what's behind the mask. So when I see your magazine unmasking, I'll be like, wow, she only knew. I spoke to somebody a couple months ago, and we were talking about the mask, and I said, look at God, how he connects. You never know how he works. So I am honored, to be here tonight with you. You're an amazing woman also. And I am looking forward to, collaborate and connect with you and do, great things, because it takes a village.
It definitely does. Absolutely. Is there anybody you would like to shout out, that you would like to give thanks for watching? Anybody that you would
Yes.
like to give? This is the time.
Thank you. I want to thank Elizabeth that texted me and told me she couldn't miss it on this evening. Latanya, who is dear to my heart, Mother Trinity, who I love, who's also at the age of 4. She wrote her book, Trinity. And yes, she's amazing. She's my princess. I love her. Her mother is absolutely, along with her father Anthony, parents that rock. They're always out there supporting her, and that's what's beautiful when you have that support. And she's been supporting me always on my platform. We've been together all the time, just supporting each other. I just want to thank her, and my son that's also watching too. Lots of people on Facebook that were gonna come. Part that's up there. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for the support. I really truly appreciate it. And I know I'm loved by all my supporters, and I couldn't ask for anything better. I don't need anything more than that. I just love my followers, and I love the support. And listen, while I'm here, support this woman also, because she rocks. She definitely, she has amazing, amazing books.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. As always, we are blessed that you came and blessed us with these gems. Of course, we definitely got to have her back when that book comes out, because I
Yeah,
am definitely waiting. We got to have like a full, probably part one and part two conversation. But
you got
as
that right.
always, this have been your girl, the lady behind the mask, better known as Dr. Sheena Gadine. You can find me on Facebook as Dr. Sheena Gadine. You can find me on Instagram as the lady behind the mask 22. You can always catch me on my website at www.sheenaunmastingmotivation.com. We are always here to empower, educate, and love. See y'all
That's
guys
right.
later. Don't you leave either.